Hey guys, what's up? It's Finch here, and today we're going to be going over LATIOS and LATIAS in the post-DLC 2 Crown Tundra SSOU metagame. For those of you that didn't know, I'm doing a little mini-series where every day I go over a Pokemon or two and how they might fare in the metagame. We're going over Pokemon that are going to be released. So yesterday we hit on Blaziken, and today I'm going to be tag-teaming both LATIOS and LATIAS, some of the fan favorites from Generation 3 legendaries. They've been really good in OU in Generations 5 and 6, then fell off a bit in Generation 7, except they both found some success with their Mega Evolution form, specifically LATIAS, which is probably one of, if not the best Mega Evolution in the metagame now. There are a lot of changes when it comes to LATIOS and LATIAS' viability, so before we go ahead and proceed to look at all the individual sets of Pokemon, I just wanted to run them down real quick. First and foremost, there is no more Pursuit, and Pursuit has been one of the biggest ways of keeping these Pokemon in check. Specifically, LATIOS has had counterplay through Pursuit Tyranitar, Pursuit Weavile, Pursuit Metagross, etc. over the generations to such a drastic extent. It's truly stunning to see a metagame where that is no longer the case, and I'm really interested to see what will come of that. In addition to that, I'm really excited to see both these Pokemon metagame and some treats for these Pokemon, some new tools for them, specifically LATIOS, the more offensive of the two, is they gain moves such as Mystical Fire and Aura Sphere, finally giving you something to compensate for the lack of Hidden Power Fire, with Hidden Power not being in the generation, which is cool. It lots of steel types. Also worth noting that Soldew is still in the game, I believe. Please correct me in the comments if I'm wrong, and it's not like the old broken Soldew, it's just like kind of like it boosted types, like say for example Dragon Fang would boost it, but it hits for both Dragon and Psychic, so that's cool as well. Now the counterplay to LATIOS and LATIOS is going to be completely redefined, if only because of the fact that, well, we're going to be seeing no Pursuit. We're going to be seeing these new coverage moves, so it's a little bit interesting to see how they interact. Is LATIOS going to be too good for the metagame? I'm not quite sure yet, but let's get into what it can do. So I think there are some very viable sets here. I think the most common two, maybe three items will be Choice Spec, Soldew, and Life Orb, with a Lure set with Expert Belt, and maybe a Scarf set being viable as well. Choice Spec's LATIOS, though, it has a lot of coverage moves. Of course, it can run Trick, but also I think Draco Meteor, Psyshock, one of Mystical Fire, Aura Sphere, and if you're running Aura Sphere, you don't need Surf. If you're running Mystical Fire, you probably do need Surf for things like Heatran and Tyranitar. So yeah, I'm thinking this combination might be the best, but you could easily see Aura Sphere plus Trick as the last two moves as well. You could see Psychic over Psyshock if the Surge of Blissey dies out and isn't replaced by Chansey, for example, as well. Or you could even see Trick in that slot if you don't mind not hitting Clefable very hard either with the Stab Psychic move. So, yeah, but all in all, Choice Spec LATIOS is bound to be a very strong option this metagame, especially since it doesn't have to worry about locking something and not being able to survive it because of the Pursuit lock. In addition, Soldew, boosting both stabs will be great, and pairing with Aura Sphere and Roost, it'll make it a nice, fast special breaker. I think that this will serve a lot of viability in the current metagame, and I'm really curious to see what you guys have to think about it as well. So if you have any comments on LATIOS or LATIAS, be sure to let me know in the comments below, so long as you're not a weird concern troll like we saw in the last video, which unfortunately I've been having to police the comments a bit too much, guys, so I'm just going to go ahead and establish one ground rule. If you don't have anything nice to say, simply don't say it. And if you have actual grievances and complaints, let me know via private message on Discord, on Smalgon, Pokemon Showdown, or anywhere else you can reach me. I'm always happy to talk about concerns, and I love to find anything I can do to be better at creating content and seeing the game as I do. And I'm always looking to improve. But let's not be mean to other people in the comment section. I'd much rather we refrain from doing so, be it insulting me or other people. It's just best to be kind. So yeah. But regardless of that, really excited to hear what you guys have to say on LATIOS and LATIAS. Next up, we have a Combine set. I think Combine plus Draco Meteor, kind of an underrated combination. I mean, just imagine a +1 Life Orb Draco Meteor absolutely destroying things, and I think it might pair nicely with Aura Sphere. The main drawback of this set in particular is Clefable and Fairy type, so I'm thinking you might even want to make it like Combine 3 attacks. Honestly, I think we might just say... I think we might just say Psyshock and Lost Slot for the hell of it. It definitely Combine is going to hard because it's some 4 move slot syndrome. You could even argue dropping Draco Meteor and then going with like Psyshock plus Mystical Fire, which I could definitely see. I'm actually going to... Only thing it really struggles with is like Toxic Heatran. Then yeah, that's pretty cool actually. But I think this is a cool alternative. Yeah, I think this is probably the best way to use Combine 2 attacks Roost. Combine 3 attacks, of course, would see otherwise. But yeah, then there's like Expert Belt set, which of course your Draco, you could like lure things in, maybe being Spec, then you hit them with the Mystical Fire or Sphere, luring into Steel types. The only thing is, again, it struggles with Fairy types, so yeah. You can't really beat it without Choice Spec or Life Orb with LATIOS. It's just fair as it is. Or I guess Soldew if you get nice rolls against Clap, for example. Next up, there's Choice Scarf. It's just a utility defogger basically, which can revenge kill things. And then other options, some other options on LATIOS. I mean, you can run Dragon, Pulse, Uncom mindsets. Psychic, you can use Oversized Shock again if there's a dropping in Chansey and Blissey usage. Stored power on Uncom mindsets, maybe with like screens plus weakness policy, could be cool. And Thunderbolt or even Thunder option, it sells Stila, Skarmory, Corviknight, all three are going to be usable now. Super 9 Celesteal is being released, so yeah, but Mystical Fire does hit those Pokemon as well, so it kind of makes it less common. But Thunderbolt does gain some coverage in mid-ground. For example, if you want to hit a bulky water or a steel type, then there you go. So yeah, but anyway, that is it for LATIOS. It is some very dynamic and threatening sets. I think it's going to be quite good in the metagame. However, there's also LATIAS. Excuse me, and I think the main niche of LATIAS over LATIOS offensively will be like a Scarf utility Pokemon, which we saw some of in generations 6 and 7. Mainly because it has access to Healing Wish, which is very new in a sense that like LATIOS doesn't have it, and it gives it an offensive niche. So let's say you're using it on a really offensive team, you might want to use LATIOS over LATIOS despite being weaker, so you can Healing Wish up a teammate that's taken a lot of damage, give them a second opportunity, while also posing a threat to revenge kill things. It also has utility like Defog and Trick. It overall is kind of nice glue. It doesn't serve a ton of offensive purpose, but it definitely can do its job as a revenge killer due to 110 base speed, plus stab Draco Meteor off of like 110 special attack. Correct. All right, next set we have is going to be a Calm Mind set. Like a defog set. I'm not really sure what item to give it. I was thinking, between Leftovers, Light Orb. I mean, it kind of can just serve as like a finesse defogger that hits surprisingly hard. Again, I'm still kind of seeing LATIOS maybe overlap with its niche in this regard. And I think LATIOS will definitely be lagging behind LATIOS in usage because of this, but it'll still hold on to some viability. Yeah, you could probably just give whatever item. You could bury Leftovers, Light Orb, whatever it might be. But yeah, at least more defensively speaking, LATIOS should be able to limit kits from Hazard Setters and also lure in spikers like Ferrothorn and Skarmory, hit them with that Mystical Fire. So that is definitely a very helpful addition to LATIOS' arsenal, and I'm sure that people will be able to take advantage of that in whatever way they see fit. Next up, we have two different utility sets I'm not really going to fill out because there are a lot of different other options, which we're going to get to in a moment. But Thunderwave, Dragon Pulse Roost, just kind of like, utility status spreader, if you will. Be a check to a lot of things that are slower, spread status, help teammates like say Hex users. And it's gonna be really interesting with all the train and fire types going around, though. I'm not sure if this set will retain much viability. Same goes for Calm Minder. It can run a lot of different coverage moves or utility moves in the last slot, but it's really gonna be kind of strapped to find the perfect 4 moves. And I'm not sure how viable these sets will be. They've been fringe viable in Generation 5, I guess, and now they're very viable in Generation 4 now that LATIOS is released, but that's about it. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see how those do without Pursuit. And then some other options on the utility end, Roar, Psycho Shift with Flame Orb can work. Light Screen or Reflective Screens, it could potentially be a screen setter that is surprising on offensive teams. And then some more kind of fringe utility moves, maybe a more offensive purpose. Tailwind could be cool. You could use Whirlpool with specific coverage moves to lure things in. Wish to help teammates if you don't want to use Healing Wish. And Surf is also kind of a mid-ground coverage move as well, giving a lot of super effective coverage on specific fire or rock types, Tyranitar, Heatran, and also hitting ground types super effectively as well if you want to do that. Although Draco should hit them just as hard, but it really depends on your situation. So yeah, LATIOS has some viable options as well. Of course, there are a lot of checks and counters to these two, thankfully, which might make it so that they're tolerable despite the lack of Pursuit in the metagame. And honestly, I think if Pursuit was in its years, these Pokemon, LATIOS might unironically be a UU Pokemon or a UUBL Pokemon. Probably UUBL, honestly. I don't think they'd see much usage in OU. And LATIOS did fall to UUBL last generation, so not really shocking. But yeah, LATIOS was actually UU last gen too as well. So I guess it's not shocking, but I mean, without Pursuit, LATIOS at least definitely is going to be very good in OU, I'd say. But still, there are some checks and counters. For example, Thunderwave Blissey does a great job at thwarting their progress. Even Toxic Blissey can do a great job. Keep in mind, things like LATIOS can't even run like Refresh anymore, which it did run on some Combined sets in prior generations. So yeah, Clefable, it deters locking into Draco for choice sets. And also, if it's Side Shock, you're able to stomach 2 Side Shocks, even from a spec set, I believe. Yeah, and then there's still Tyranitar, which, can check it, I'd say. It really depends on the situation. It doesn't have Pursuit anymore, so it's less effective than prior generations, but it can still dish out the damage and still keep it in check quite nicely. So that is quite helpful, I'd say. All in all, though, I think it's going to be kind of hard, unless it's paired with like Wish support, for it to really check it much in the long haul. There's also then some Steel types that will be able to resist everything besides Mystical Fire, like Jirachi, which should be able to stomach 2 Mystical Fires even, and Aegislash, which is switching on any non-Mystical Fire and just wall it for days and do a ton of damage in returns. But I think both these Pokemon consider themselves pretty durable checks in Jirachi and Aegislash. playing situation. And then Hatterene, which, unless you run into a random Shadow Ball where you take too many Specs attacks that aren't Draco Meteor because you're immune to that, but Hatterene should also feel really good against opposing Latios and LATIAS, so yeah, that's helpful. Of course, speaking of Hatterene, something that shares the same type and it could do more damage offensively, but is a bit less durable defensively, is going to be Tapu Lele, which also is a good answer to Latios and LATIAS, I would say. In addition, there's also the Brigade of Steel and Flying type, specifically the ones with a bit more of a specially defensive profile, like Corviknight and Celesteela, which can absolutely function as viable checks and counters, should be able to stomach 2 non-specs Mystical Fires, and just about any other hit besides a random Rogue Thunderbolt, which I don't think we're going to be seeing very much of, so that is undoubtedly helpful for these Pokemon. And on top of that, there are some other Fairy types that should be able to keep both Latios and LATIAS in check. For example, Magearna, which should be returning to OU for a bit. It could end up broken anyway, and we could ban it, but I mean, in odds are, it's going to see OU at some point just because they're freeing so many Pokemon. I mean, this is going to be like a completely new generation, guys, and that's why we're seeing all these new Pokemon, and that's why I'm so excited, so we'll have to see how that does. But yeah, same goes for Tapu Fini. It does have to watch out for Psychic moves, but it's fine, and especially defensive Mandibuzz should also be able to do the trick. It has to watch out for Specs, Dracos, and tricks and whatnot, but that aside, it should be a good answer. So, I guess to answer the question as posed in what likely will be the title, unless I come up with some quirky alternative, what is going to keep Latias and LATIOS in check? Sorry, how good are Latios and LATIAS? They're going to be pretty good. Latios is going to be very good, I think. As for LATIAS, might lag in effectiveness, might even see UU, but it'll be viable in some capacity. In what checks and counters Latias and LATIOS? Well, we've got 12 premier options right here, all looking like very viable options in OU, and honestly, I wouldn't be shocked if we end up seeing something like Tapu Lele even banned from OU. So, yeah, that'll be interesting to see. It's going to be hard, though. It's going to be hard to keep these Pokemon in check without Pursuit. It's going to be a very new dynamic for the metagame to tackle, and it's going to be very interesting to see how players adapt. Definitely let me know your thoughts on what you think of checking and countering these Pokemon, and also let me know your thoughts on what other Pokemon you want to see in the following days. Thank you guys so much for the comments that were civilized yesterday, and I'm hoping for a lot more. And if you guys enjoyed this content and want more DLC 2 related content, let me know in the comments below. There's a lot to say, there's a lot to cover, and I'm so excited to go over each and every little bit of information with you guys, so stay tuned. Thank you so much for following the channel, and have a great day, guys. This was my little rundown on Latios and LATIAS in the DLC 2 Crown Tundra metagame. Let me know your thoughts, and peace out, guys. Bye. Have a great day.